All right, peoples, let's jump in here and get these funds out. I'm not going to be long on this. So let's jump with, I'm going to keep the same format as last week. I know a lot of you wanted alphabetical order or the way they listed on the website. I will change, but I had a lot of things to do. I promised my supporters that I'd get a September forecast out, hopefully tomorrow. And let's jump in here. So I have Zomo, ExxonMobil paying 31 cents, down 3 cents, 21.39% yield. JP Morgan, the Bank of Banks, I have them down a penny, paying 36 cents at a 22.76 yield. In here, guys, I'm always showing the close price. So this has been updated to reflect August 30th. That's how I calculate the yield. All right, let's just keep it going. So some of the longer funds now. ORC, which at 1028 peoples is getting in that, anything below 5 and funds are delisted. So when they get into the 8, 7, maybe even 9 range, that's when you're prone to a reverse split. So ORC is okay for now. I got them paying up 5.5 plus cents to 32, yielding 37.35. All right, Apple, I have them up for 4 cents, 25.66 yield for Apple. Microsoft, MSFO, they're hanging in there with their NAV. I got them down slightly, a penny and a half at 39 cents, yielding 23%. All right, Disso or Disney, below 16 now. That's getting a little ugly. I got them down 8 cents. I'm punishing them a little. 23% yield. All right, GUI or Alphabet Google, they're also below 16 cents now. I've got them dropping almost 8 cents, peoples. I got them at 42 cents, almost a 32% yield. Netflix, I've got them at 17.15 on a closing price. Again, always using August 30th on these. I've got them down about 6.5 cents this month, yielding almost 36%. AIYY, the AI stock, right? Look at this. This one is very low, 976, but I have them down almost 4 cents from last month. 39.34, still a reasonable percentage payer. Let's take a look at PayPal. PP 1890. They're hanging in there with their NAV price, and I've got them up 14 cents, peoples. Rewarding them a little bit. That's a 31% yield. All right, Murney, another one that's getting low. It's been in the tens. I don't know if this one's touched 9. I don't have the chart in front of me. But look at this thing in January. $2.65. So I've got them at 45 cents, which looked to be the low mark. Nope, they had a 41. Their initial payment was 41 cents. So 45 cents yielding almost 52% based on that low NAV price. All right, AMDY, Advanced Micros, nice chip company. I love this company in a lot of ways. I like Lisa Su, the CEO. I like what they're doing. I think they're always chasing in NVIDIA. They're not as high end as they are, but they're cost effective. So you can put 2 of their high end GPUs to one of NVIDIA's and beat the price. And Microsoft made that switch. A lot of the other guys are still going to, when you need the full horsepower, you're going to go to NVIDIA. But I think their margins will be forced down by competition. And so I think NVIDIA's seen its highs. Um, I think they're going to be under pressure like everything probably in September and October. So AMD though at 1461, their NAV is getting low. I've got them jumping up almost 11 cents, people. 44.35 yield, right? So they've had a 44 and they had a 43. Otherwise everything is much higher. So it looks like they're returning a little bit. GDXY, I report on these. I know a lot about this space. Um, this is a tough one. I mean, I certainly had them paying. They could have easily paid $1 here. They earned about $1.10 that first month, but they had 6 weeks to earn it. So Yieldmax was conservative. And then last month, I thought they were going to pay high 60s. They came in at 57. So their IV is low. There's no question. But this fund manager group doesn't give them their due. When gold's at an all-time high and these things are historically underpriced, the miners, and they're all moving up in general. Now the last week or so, we got killed the week ending 8/16, just destroyed. I mean, these guys rode a real tight 36 and the stock flew up to GDX flew up to 38. We would have made really good money if they'd have gone and written 10% out. Yeah, they would have collected instead of 25 cents, they would have collected 8 cents. Who cares? They're long stock or their synthetic would have roared. Instead, we had to buy those calls back at 4 times what they paid us. I mean, we just got destroyed. You got to understand the dynamics of what's going on with these gold miners and the metal prices. Now, I do think they're going to go much, much higher. We're going to go to 3,000 gold by first quarter. I mean, they could go up in September, but I'm expecting the markets to go down, and I think they'll take all things stock down, including GDX and the miners. Um, but very disappointed in the management of this. So I don't buy GDX anymore or GDXY, and I don't recommend it to my. Even though I think the NAV will be very stable going forward, and it'll probably get back above 20 and stay there. It just won't be a very high yielding fund compared to what I can do on my own. All right, Facebook, Meta. 64 cents, which is down 15 cents. I've got it at a 40% yield. Okay, this stock is hanging in there. It's a Mag 7. You expect it to, but I think September could be ugly on the NASDAQ and the general indexes. Amazon, a tough one too. I cover this one a lot of times. Um, they disappointed me last month. I had them at, 65 cents or something, 69 cents. They came in at 47. So I'm going to play the game and say they're going to bounce and they're going to they come back up on their NAV some. They're going to give them 54 cents for a 33% yield. Airbnb, their second payment, it's going to drop considerably. Um, Look at this, 1620. They're being punished, so I got them at 43 cents, yielding almost 32%. All right, Tesla, you guys are going to be disappointed here. Again, something I report on, not every day. I've got them dropping a lot. Now, you don't see this often. There was 3 months where they were paying in the 60 cents. And then they flew up, right? They went from low 200s. They said they beat their shipments were going to beat. Then when their earnings came out, it wasn't quite as good. But they got up to 271 in the stock price. Now they're back around 214. And the main thing was earnings wasn't quite as good. And then they slowed down the August, right? They moved that out to October for the robo taxi. So that's driven the stock back to the low 200s. But I'm still very bullish long term on the underlying, but I don't choose to play it with Tesla. It gets crushed when it runs by getting capped. And the same thing, guys, on crush, whatever you want to call it, it gets crushed when it drops too fast. It gets capped on the way down, just like it gets capped on the way up. So if it's just a moderation and trading up and down and back and forth, you're going to do okay in both those funds. But on big moves either way, you're not going to capture most of the gains. All right. So speaking of crash, I got them dropping considerably from 84. And you would think if Tesla dropped, crash is going to go up. Not necessarily, right? I got them paying 69 cents, which is still a good yield because look at this. This NAV is terrible. 53%, 69 cents yield. Fiat, again, coin got beat up, right? Coin's way down. And Fiat had a fantastic first month. I got them dropping considerably. Again, you get capped. You know, the fund managers don't always create the best scenarios. So I got them paying quite a bit. $1.30 is nothing to sneeze at. That could be the second highest payer. Dips. I got dips inaugural pay, right? That's the NVIDIA. I got NVIDIA, but you all know what I mean. It's the inverse on NVIDIA, but you can think of it, NVIDIA is the long for NVIDIA. Dips is the inverse or the short for NVIDIA. All right, I got them paying 86 cents, so 52% yield. They've hung in there on their NAV. All right, Babo, Alibaba, and they've definitely hung in there. I got them paying 74 cents on their inaugural payout, 43% yield. All right, I got Squee here, the payment or block, similar to a PayPal, slightly different payment system. I got them up 3 cents, three and change, 42% yield, paying 67 cents. All right, Snowflake. I've got them down considerably over their first payment at 59 cents. Still a nice 40%, almost 41% yield. Software company in the AI space. Ybit, something I know pretty well, but I got to tell you, I'm not a Ybit fan anymore. I talked it up. I didn't like how they handled it. I further don't like it sitting on top of Bitto. Bitto's been paying and yielding a lot more. Um, and it performs better because with Ybit, you know, we're dependent on Bitto's options, and Bitto pays out big and drops. The proxy that it performs, you're just better. Now, Bitto used to pay the dinky little dividends, and over the last 8 to 10 months, they've upped them. If Bitto ever goes back and doesn't pay so well, then Ybit could become attractive. But I say to myself, if I'm in Ybit, I can get capped. If I'm in Bitto, I don't get capped. All I got to do is recover my big payout, but I don't get capped because I'm in futures. But Ybit gets capped if BTC runs a simple determination to move to Bitto. Had I not owned Bitto and watched it, I might still be in Ybit. But I'm not saying get out of Ybit and own nothing, but I think you're better off being in Bitto than you are in Ybit. My opinion, 61 cents, 53% yield. Okay, Coney. This this could be anywhere from 80 cents to $1.01. And it was hard for me to drop it below $1. I said they're probably going to pay $1 again just to keep that dynamic. They have never paid under $1 in 14, 13 months of payments, right? September will be, I think, their 13th payday. And yet I've got them in 95. They could be 85, guys. It's somewhere in that, you know, they've earned like 79, 84. I don't have it in front of me. And this is yield at 95 is a little high. So there's some risk there. Don't be surprised if it's in the 80s, peoples. And I wouldn't be freaked out. I'd be happier if it paid $1. But So it's somewhere between, low 80s to a dollar. But I had to pick a number, so I'm going with 95. All right, NVIDIA. Same kind of thing, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is hanging in there. It's probably got one of the highest NAV prices. Misty used to always have a higher one, but Misty's come down. So because Misty doesn't have any real earnings, NVIDIA is all about earnings. It's a real company. Misty's figuring out its identity. It's a small little software company, but their claim to fame is Michael Saylor, the CEO, one of the smartest men on the planet, and secondly, he's so smart in owning all that BTC. So they're going to do well, and that's up next. MSTR and Misty. So I got NVIDIA paying $1.08. I think honestly that could be anywhere from $1 to $1.15. Somewhere in there is probably what they're going to pay. It's going to be over $1. I went with $1.08. It's a 51-cent yield, but they got blown up on some of their calls. Fund managers don't always do the best job. And this one again, I flipped and flopped on this, guys. If you watch my last Misty video, I said they're going to pay $1.01. I'm convinced that they're going to pay $1. But I started thinking they always overpay my estimate. I had this estimate saying, is it going to be $1.90? Are they going to go in the $1 range and hit for the cycle? A single, double, triple, and home run. Here's the home run. Here's the triple. Here's the double. And no, they went 230. And then here, I had them paying about $1.40 in my prediction. They won $1.94. I was happy to get it. So if I predict $1.01, they're going to pay $1.50. So I'm going to play a game and I'm going to predict $1.53 and watch them pay $1. I just think and believe that they're going to pay $1 minimum. But I'm going with it's even higher than their yield, right? They're up in the 80s. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. I'm not going to keep you. Again, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great weekend, peoples. Bye for now.